Hi, I'm Judith. I'm a Canadian. I'm over 80. And in my life, I've learned a bunch of things, and I'm still learning things. And I want to share them uh, in the hopes that they will help you to have a happy, successful, and fulfilling life. And I've struggled a lot in my life, not because of anything really bad. I had really a lot of privileges and a lot of good things going for me, but I do have ADHD, and that's made us struggle a bit. Um, so let's get into it for today. I just spent the last couple of hours trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about today, and I'm all over the place. And that's an ADD thing, an ADHD thing. Oh, I could talk about this. I could talk about that. I could talk about the other thing, and and um, and I have a whole bunch of things I'd like to talk about, and I'm not obviously doing these videos is helping me to formulate some of those more closely than I have before. But today I'm going to talk about something that happened today that got me thinking, and that's routines. So I talked a few episodes ago about the force of habits, and how we have how habits can help us to build a life that's happy and orderly, at least, and happy. Um, and routines are simply sets of habits. Let's call it that. Um, I mean, routines can be dance routines, right? Routines can be um, uh, performance routines, acting routines, whatever. But I'm going to talk about it in the sense of a sequence of actions that you do that are habitual, that become habitual, and how to deal with those. So routines like a morning routine or a bedtime routine, or I, I have a mid-afternoon routine as well. Um, I I think those are my major routines. I have some weekend routines. On Sunday mornings. This happens to be a Sunday. On Sunday mornings, I normally fill up my medicine dosette. That happens every 2 weeks, and I fill up my um, my morning and evening vitamin dosettes, and that happens once a week. And so I do that every Sunday. And every Sunday I do the laundry normally, and so on. So I have some routines, some weekly routines as well. But I'm going to talk about routines. It took me a long time to establish routines, or to establish routines that worked. And I'll tell you why. One thing is, hey, I have ADHD, so I'm scattered. So I get behind on things, and I in morning routines, for instance, I would wake up late, and have to scramble to go to work, and so I wouldn't have time to do the things that I thought I would do, and so that was one of the things that would interfere with me. Getting off track for a few days. I think I have a certain amount of perfectionism, and so I felt that if I didn't do it every single day, then it wasn't worth doing at all. And so once I got off track for a few days, I would just drop the routine. Um, let's see what else would happen. Oh yeah, so going away on vacation would often interrupt my routines. I take vitamins after breakfast every morning. I have learned that when I go on vacation, I just don't even take the vitamins. A, there's too much to pack, and B, I don't take them anyway. So what's the point of taking them? I just go off vitamins for that period of time. I've become much more forgiving of not doing things perfectly, but perfectionism has certainly been a flaw. And the other flaw I think I've had in routines is that I would start a routine and it would work for a while, and then I would start building on to it, and I would add more and more things to that routine. So let's say I had a spiritual routine in the morning where I would say a prayer or two and read something out of a daily inspiration book. And so I'd read something, I would say a prayer, and I would meditate for 5 minutes. Well, then I would start adding to it, and I would be reading from 3 books, and I would be doing 4 prayers, and I would ultimately be doing 20 minutes of meditation is what I need to do. Well, then it would be too much, and I wouldn't have time to do it, and then I wouldn't do it, and then I would fall off, and it was all gone. It was just gone, all of it. So I've learned, one of the things I've learned is not to try to be perfect about it. So that's one key learning, and I'll tell you about how I'm not perfect about it. Um, and number one, not to be perfect about it. Number two, to be adaptable about it. And number three, to understand that my routines will change. And number four, how to reset when they really badly need to. So I just made up those four things on the spot. So let's see how I do in talking about them. Number one, how to not be perfect. If I can remember the four, how not to be perfect about it. Um, let's see. So, um, yeah, in terms of building something big, making it bigger and bigger and bigger, um, I've just basically had to give that idea up. So let's talk about my morning routine right now. So at the moment, my morning routine goes like this. I get up in the morning after a few moments in the bathroom where I do the necessary things, brush my teeth. Um, I put on my house coat, I put on my slippers, I put on my hearing aids. You likely don't have to do that. And I do that so that when I'm doing things on my phone, it's not speaking out into the room. I can hear it on my hearing aids and not disturb my partner who may still be sleeping. Um, and then if it's a morning when I weigh myself, which I do once a week, then I go downstairs to where the weigh scales are and I weigh myself. But otherwise, I go to a corner of the room, of a room in the front hall. There's a little area where I do more spiritual things or reading, and like it's a bit of a nook. And I go there and I currently am doing 5 minutes, 5 minutes only of box breaths, trying to reset my system, get rid of any cortisol that came up during the night, um, set my parasympathetic system. I don't know much about these things, but I'm told it's a really good thing, so that there's less stress. And so I do a 5 minute meditation. I happen to use an app called, um, what's it called? Don't remember. Oh, it'll come to me. Uh, like it's right here on my phone. I'll tell you what it is. Uh, so anyway, I use this. It's called Insight Timer. Insight Timer. It's a free app. Um, and I found a 5 minute meditation. And I am not going to try to do 20 minutes. If on a certain day I have time to do another 5 or 10 minute thing, I do it on like a different thing, like affirmations or daily visualization or something, health habits, whatever I fancy. But basically, I'm doing 5 minutes of box breaths. That might change in the future, but I'm doing that. And then I go into the living room and I do 10 to 15 minutes of a walking a DVD, walking DVD. It's Leslie Sansone. I've got a five hard miles or something, 5 mile video, and every mile takes about 12 to 15 minutes, and I do 1 mile, and I set my Fitbit, to mark it, but I do that, and I don't do that every single day, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then I have my breakfast and some tea, and then I go into the bathroom where I do my teeth routine. I described that in another. That's electric toothbrush, flossing, water pick, mouthwash. I described that in the Force of Habits, one of the other episodes. Um, and what else do I do? Oh yeah, so I set my mouth guard that I use at night to clean. I put in a little cleaning machine. I make the bed if it's my turn to make the bed. Whoever gets out of bed last usually makes the bed, but sometimes I end up doing it anyway. Lately, because my partner had broken his hip, I've been doing it pretty much all the time. So make the bed, clean my CPAP mask, get things in order, and then I get dressed and do my hair and put on my jewelry and put on my makeup, and off I go to whatever I'm doing in the day, whether that's inside or outside. Now, some days I don't have time to do all that. Wednesdays, oh, and I shower some day. I don't shower every day anymore. As I get older, I find that unless I've been doing something very hot and sweaty or have night sweats, which doesn't usually happen, I don't exude that many, things that I used to. My body doesn't give off the odors or the liquid things that it used to, and so I don't need to shower every day. And so I shower on certain days when I'm going to be home in the mornings. So that happens after the teeth and after breakfast and after the teeth and before I get dressed and do all the other things. So that's the morning routine. It can take a while. On Wednesday and Friday mornings, right now, I go out to cardio classes for 9 o'clock. I've got to be there for 9 o'clock in the morning, and I need to leave home somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45. It's a bit of a rush if I don't leave till 8:45, although it's not that far away. But I got to get in, change into my shoes, get my coat off, especially in the winter, all that kind of stuff. And uh, uh, so I'm more rushed, and so on those mornings I'm not doing the fasting exercise, the 10 minutes or 15 minutes of Leslie Sansone before I have breakfast, and I am not doing my teeth, and I'm likely not doing my CPAP mask, not cleaning putting the retain, excuse me, clean, maybe not even making the bed. I don't do any of those things. I just do the absolute necessities, which are the breathing and the breakfast, and I do brush my teeth, because I've talked about how I brush my teeth when I first get up in the morning. Um, and I might brush my teeth again after breakfast, in that case, very quickly with a regular toothbrush. And then I get dressed very quickly and off I go. And then when I come home, I do those things. I'll do the teeth things after lunch. I'll do all the other sorting out, making the bed if my partner hasn't made it. Because I like to have the house in order. I like things in order, and it makes me feel good when things are put away and are not messy. But I've stopped being a perfectionist about that. I really recognize that, on Wednesday and Friday mornings, I'm not going to get the dental thing done. And in olden days, I would have therefore not done it. And now I'm trying more, and I don't succeed every day, but I'm trying more to say, oh, I can do that after lunch instead. I'm usually not so busy. Once in a while, I'll have such a busy day that it doesn't get done, and I'm not sweating that either. I just get back to it the next day. And so far, the dental hygienist and the dentist are happy with my teeth, and they're doing okay. And I haven't had much trouble with them, and the other things in my life are fine. I'm not going to start trying to do way more meditation. I'm not adding prayer time. I'm not adding inspirational reading time. I'm just doing what I can in a reasonable amount of time. And that's a bit of a groove. It helps me to feel centered, and it gets the main things done. Now, you may decide that your routines don't include any of those things. They include other things. I don't know. You have a baby to get up or something. You've got children to get up. You've got to cook a breakfast for a family. I'm not sure what your routine would need, but it doesn't have to have the same things as my routine does. But the point is to have a routine that is consistent with good habits. I find I still waste time in the mornings looking at my phone, checking Facebook, checking YouTube, seeing what's going on in the world, reading emails, replying to texts. Oh, and I text most mornings with my sister-in-law in England, but then I don't always have time in the mornings. This morning I didn't. I got up and for a change, I'm usually home on Sunday mornings, but for a change, I went walking with my friends, and I had to be out there by a little after 9. So I had an abbreviated morning routine this morning. That's okay. It's just different. And I have a bedtime routine. I'm not going to describe it to you, but uh, it's helpful to have routines. I have a mid-afternoon routine where I take my blood pressure and drink a couple of supplements, collagen and creatine and Metamucil for my innards and for strong nails and for good hair growth and strength in my muscles. As I said before, keeping my health going is my major preoccupation these days. So I've given up on perfectionism. I've given up on trying to just keep expanding things to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't care if I don't do it perfectly. I try to do it fairly consistently, but 80% consistency is good enough, just good enough. One thing I am going to add to that, as the weather gets better, it's still April here and it's raining today and it's still chilly outside. I'm still wearing a winter jacket. The snow only went last week. So I am going to try to get out on the deck to eat my breakfast on the days when when it's not raining, just to get some morning sunshine, because I'm told that that's really good for you. Okay, so not being a perfectionist about it. Now I've forgotten the other three things that I said that I wasn't gonna, gonna talk about. But I think on the whole, the idea with routines is, with a routine, you want to get it so that it's feeling like a kind of a groove that you're in. Years ago, here's a little segue. Years ago, I wrote a song, and I have lost the words to that song now, and I wish I had it. I mean, I never got it set to a tune, but I wrote the lyrics to a song, and all I remember is the chorus, and it was kind of a countryish kind of thing, and it was about my life with my husband. He was still alive at that point, so it was years ago, over 20 years ago, and but it was talking about the chorus went something like this. um, but but there's a mighty fine line between a groove and a rut. And I think that that's true of our routines. We can go on with them and they're in a nice groove and they make you feel good, and then they become a kind of a rut and they're stultifying to you, either because they grow too heavy or they become too routine. So they no longer have, like, let's say the box breathing just stops feeling like it's what I need in the mornings. And so I need to change that up a little bit. So you have to be aware of how your routines need to change, not only for different timings, like trying to get out in the morning so I can change when I do things or omit certain things from my routine, but also change it up because it's no longer suiting me or really fitting what I need. Um, so, yeah, I think that it's very important to routines. And then what happens then is that every so often you need to just reset your routine or stop it completely. I find usually what happens is that I get thrown off course, and then as I said before, and then I don't do it. And then I don't really have a routine, and that's when bad habits can occur. It's a little like an empty garden with no flowers in it. The weeds can come and settle in. So bad habits can start accruing if I have empty space. Then I'll just scroll my phone longer. I'll find ways to waste time. Might not be doing anything actually harmful, but I'm not really doing anything that's really helpful either. So I need to be proactive about setting new routines and trying new things and building on them. Having a routine, though, is also a good way to hang a new habit onto. So, again, as I said, in my morning routine, I want to start going out and having breakfast outside on the deck in the good weather, in order to get some sunshine, because apparently morning sunshine is good for you. And so that would be a habit that I can work into a routine that's already established. And it's one of the ways to help create new habits. And again, I'll track that on my habit tracker. So I don't know that I went through all 4 points because I don't remember what they were, because I have an ADD brain. And I'm just going to hope that you don't mind that, that I'm not as organized perhaps as other people might be on these videos. I guess it gives it a certain idiosyncrasy that perhaps you can tolerate. And sometimes I think it helps to see that other people aren't perfect, that we may be able to do something well, but Other areas are not so perfect. And so there we go. My organization on this one need not have been perfect. Um, yeah, so routines. Just routines are really important. So what happened today is typical. I got up this morning. I was going out to walk instead of doing my normal Sunday things, and so the medicine dosettes and the vitamins had to wait until after I came back. And then I went to walk with my friends, and then I went for coffee as we always do, and then um, I don't drink coffee but tea at Tim Hortons and famous Canadian institution. And then I went shopping and did some grocery shopping at three different stores, Costco and a couple of grocery stores. And so it was 1 o'clock by the time I got home, and the afternoon is going by. I still have laundry to do. I have a video call tonight with a friend, my normal Sunday night video call with a good friend. Um, so I have routines in my life for various days of the week, things that have to get done, and and I like that. It gives me a sense of routine, of familiarity, of being in a bit of a groove, of knowing that I'm doing things that are good for me, um, and and yet I had some flexibility this morning not to do certain parts of the routine until afterwards. I did get my morning exercise in. I did get the box breathing in, um, but I didn't get the dental done until after lunch. So there it is. So I would encourage you to think about your routines. Um, Now, if you're at the point where you have no routines that are of any use and you're just starting out, then start where you are. Start with one habit. Don't, I used to create these enormous things. I'm going to do this every morning, and I would get up on the 1st of January or whatever, or the first day of September, or the day after my birthday, and I would say, I'm going to do all these things, and I would do them. And then I couldn't sustain that kind of effort. It was way too much, all at once. Can't sustain it. Start. I have a lot of habits now, and I'm getting good at habits, and I'm really happy about that because, gosh, I'm in my 80s, and it's about time I learned how to do some habits in a good way. And I spent years just having really haphazard habits and really haphazard routines. I would have a routine for a while, not. So please just try. Start where you are. Start with one habit. Think, what one thing, can I do that will start with one thing that will help to make your life better. Whether it's just I'm going to make a healthy breakfast, or whether it's I'm going to do some yoga before breakfast, or I'm going to go for a walk. I have a friend in Florida who goes for a walk now. She's in my age, and she walks around her apartment building outside. She's in Florida. She can go outside, and she gets up and puts her clothes on and goes out. I do exercise inside in my housecoat because I don't want to get dressed before breakfast. Um, Make a routine that really suits you, and make it simple. Uh, and do it consistently. Better to do 5 minutes every day or almost every day than to think you're going to do 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour and do it once, right? And that's the same thing. If going for a walk is your thing, start with 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm also doing I'm trying to, again, blood sugar, um, after dinner, going for a walk. And I just walk a block and a half this way and turn around and walk a block and a half back. I live halfway through a block. So I walk up to the next street, then up to the next one, and then I cross the road and I come back. It takes about 15 minutes. I think I did it in 13 minutes the other night because it was cold out. Um, and and maybe I'll lengthen that at some point. Maybe as the summer days get longer and it's not getting so dark and it's warmer out, I'll stay out for 15 or 20 minutes, and that's fine. But I don't want to feel like I have to go for a 2-hour walk or anything like that either. So keep it manageable. Do it every day. Track it on a habit tracker, and see if it doesn't help you feel more in control of your life. I've talked before about the fact we don't have control over everything in our lives, but we can control some things, and we can do things that help us. And um, it's good. If it's even better if the habit is something you really enjoy. I talked in the habit thing about how much I hated flossing my teeth. Still don't like it, but now I don't actually mind it. But if it's something you actually enjoy, then and it's healthy for you, that's even better. Because if you can, you know, if it's something that can spur you on, I think that's some of the reason why people sometimes set a goal of, I'm going to train for a 5K run or something, because it's a little bit bigger and it can help you. Um, it can inspire you a little more, and if that's your jam, go for that as well. I'm going to talk in another video about those kinds of aspirational goals and how they help you move forward. Anyway, for today, um, try to establish good habits and good routines. Uh, Try to get rid of the routines that are not serving you well, or the parts of the routines that are not serving you well, and know that you can create a happy, a successful, and a fulfilling life. You can do it at any age, at any time, whether you're old already and you haven't succeeded, or whether you're young and just starting out. No matter if you have ADHD, no matter what you have, you can do this. I have faith in you. So until the next time, take care.